Well, the equity markets are a little bit under stress this morning, as the retail sales came in a little hotter than expected. And so th- we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off, but not terrible. But Tesla, it doesn't seem to have any plan to top out, as Elon says this. At some point in the future, I think that will happen. And he wrote that in response to an ex-user who said that they are now waiting for the stock to hit 690 and 42 cents. He thinks it'll happen sometime in the future. AJ says more new Model Y Juniper sightings are popping up everywhere based on visible features. This is clearly a Tesla product. He says the launch is potentially just a few weeks away. I would agree with that. I would think like even the first week of January. This gives us, for the first time in a long time, Model Y owners a significant reason to upgrade. I hadn't really thought about that. Early sales are typically characterized by a much higher share of higher trim vehicles, implying a material auto margin boost is incoming in the first quarter. Of course, some or most of this is what you see in the share price already. I don't know. I don't think at this point, I doubt very many people who are buying like crazy are paying any attention at all to even the increases in the Cybertruck sales or the new Juniper. They might be paying a little bit of attention to the less expensive, the Model Q, the 2.5, I've been calling it. But that's months and months away, but that is the one that people seem to be concentrating on, as opposed to these really solid sellers like the Cybertruck and the Model Y. And the refresh, I think, is going to sell like crazy. But that's what I think. I could be completely wrong. This is from Ashok this morning, or I'm sorry, yesterday. He says the FSD version 13.2.1 is now rolling out wide to AI4 customers. That plus the holiday vehicle software update is coming within a week. Teams working on a much updated 12.6 for the AI3 customers by the end of the year. So we, the AI3 group, we're going to have to be satisfied with a 12.6 for now. I'm assuming at some point it'll be 13, or we will get a free new chip for our cars. From Sawyer Merritt this morning, I'm sorry, again, this was last night. Mizuho analyst Vijay Rakesh raised his Tesla price target to 515 from 230. You can't make this stuff up. He upgraded the stock to outperform from neutral at the same time. We are upgrading Tesla to an outperform as we see idiosyncratic tailwinds over the next 4 years, positioning it favorably as number one, loosening autonomous driving regulatory framework provides more FSD robotaxi valuation upside, and two, new Trump administration policies, consumer EV tax credit repeals, position Tesla better with lower EV cost structure relative to peers. And number three, position to outgrow global LVP with more profitable EV roadmap versus its peers with a low-cost cyber cab. He says, it goes on to say, our Tesla SOTP implies 1.8 trillion with a core autos energy other. This is interesting here. So the core auto and energies business at 711 billion, the FSD and robotaxi at 614 billion, with an upside to 896 billion, and humanoid robots at 472 billion, with an upside to 740 billion. Is an upgrade to outperform raise estimates a price target, right? In the next 12 months of 515, in line with our SOTP valuation. 15.5 times our full year 25 estimated EPS. This gives a positive recalibration with our new administration and FSD, the new U.S. administration, and full self-driving robotaxi optimism, despite near-term EU tariffs, EV credit repeals, and other challenges. All right, so just to let you know, there was a discussion going on this morning. There's always a discussion about the business of whether there's going to be regulatory problems and getting the robotaxis to market. Look, once Elon can prove to his friends everywhere. Remember, the best salesman maybe on earth right now, Elon Musk, has friends in high places everywhere. The president, I guess she's the president of Italy, the president of France. I mean, just go around the country. Xi Jinping, I mean, go around the world. I'm sorry, not the country. He has friends in high places everywhere. He's got the number one guy in the world right now. President Trump is his friend. If he comes to President Trump and to these other top leaders and shows them the data that robotaxi is 10 times or even 2 times or 3 times or 4 times safer than a human driver, how fast do you think the regulatory stuff is going to come down? Because it would be criminal not to allow it if it's safer than the existing products. It'd be crazy. It'd be like saying, no, we're not going to do seat belts. What are you talking about? Of course they're going to do seat belts. Oh, we're not going to do the bags, the airbag, what do you call it? Of course they're going to do them. This is nuts. So it's not going to be a problem. I mean, just forget that. Okay, this is from DNY DNYSTEDT. He says, update, not a rumor. TSMC chairman CCY told Taiwan's 12th National Science and Technology Conference he had talked with the world's richest man. He didn't say his name. He was talking with the world's richest man who told him that the future was robots, not cars. And his biggest concern was the stable supply of chips. And then Wei promised TSMC would deliver as long as the richest man in the world was willing to pay. According to media reports, Wei told the conference, multipurpose robots are the AI wave of the future and a big opportunity for Taiwan. So he joins Jensen Huang saying the same things, as making them requires precision, marrying semiconductor technology with software. Wei said drones, energy conservation, reducing carbon emissions, and natural resource management are also important areas for Taiwan's AI efforts. He said the chip industry can work with other industries to develop AI across Taiwan. Investopedia, then I got this from Investopedia this morning. It tried to do the impossible. It tried to chart the potential highs and lows of Tesla going forward. I mean, I don't know how chartists are supposed to do this except for, going on horoscopes. But here's their idea. To forecast a bullish target in Tesla shares, investors can use bars patterns analysis, a technique that studies historical trends to predict how future directional moves may play out. Like I said, there's really no history. There's no history that compares with what's happening to Tesla right now, because there's never been a product like Optimus. There's really never been a product like the robotaxi in terms of the future TAM and the future potential profits. But Optimus, it's 5 times the number that we're expecting from robotaxi. When applying the tool to Tesla's chart, we extract the stock's sharp trending move from late June to early July, overlay it with the ascending triangle's top trend line. This projects a bullish target around 510. What? 510. How did they come up with that? Same number. A location where investors may decide to lock in profits if the current move higher replicates the prior strong trend analyzed. Well, this morning, it's certainly paying attention to all of these folks that are talking 510, 515. Anyway, it says the key support levels to monitor. During retracements, investors should initially keep an eye on the 360 level, a location on the chart where the shares may encounter support on a retest of the ascending triangle's top trend line. At close below this area, you can see the shares fall to around the psychological $300 level. Investors may look for buying opportunities in this region near the prominent July 2003 swing high and nearby 50-day moving average. Finally, a significant correction in Tesla shares may lead to a retest of lower support near 265. I don't think so. This would likely attract buying interest near a trend line that connects multiple peaks on the chart on a 12-month period between October 2023 and October of this year. All right. Well, what about China? Usually we're paying a lot of attention to China this morning, but look, it's all the way down here on my list of important things. But the insurance registrations in China totaled 18,500 for the week. And that is down from last week at 21.9, but it's still a very strong number, totally in line with what expectations would have been. With just 2 weeks left in the fourth quarter, Tesla registrations in China, a rough gauge for deliveries, are up 10% compared to the last quarter and have increased 15.6 versus a year ago. Tesla's year-to-date China registrations, which lagged earlier this year, have turned positive in the third quarter, up about 8% compared to the same time frame in 2023. Remember, China is Tesla's largest market. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, notify. Regular programming today. Nicholas Gibbs on about 5-ish, 5:30. And Brian White with part 2 of our list of the robo-taxi, what's going to happen over the next year with regard to robo-taxi, with regard to FSD, with regard to cyber cabs. You guys liked that one, the part 1 last night, so be sure to see part 2 tonight. Hitting Patreon, joining Patreon. I had another person join the other day. I didn't write down the name. I need to do that and bring his name to you tomorrow. All right, the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐲 letter. I haven't had anything from 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐲 in a while. He says, breaking, the Magnificent Seven stocks now reflect a record 33% of the S&P 500. 7 stocks represent 33% of the entire S&P 500. This percentage has doubled in 5 years. Furthermore, the total market cap of the Magnificent Seven now exceeds 18 trillion for the first time in history. The group is up 50% year to date, nearly doubling the S&P 500's gain of 28%. At the same time, the remaining 493 companies of the index have been up 20%. So good, 20% is good. It says big tech is massive is his final conclusion. All right, here was what I would consider to be the biggest news of the morning is that advanced estimates of U.S. retail and food services sales for November 2024, adjusted for seasonal variation and holiday and trading differences, but not for price changes. They don't include price changes. Anyway, 724.6 billion, which is an increase of 0.7%. That is 8.4% per year annually. From the previous month, up 0.7% and up 3.8%. That's the actual annual, but just that month was 0.7. Total sales for September 2024 through November 2024 period were up 2.9%. The September 2024 for October 24% change was revised up 0.4% compared to the up 5 that it was. So that actually went down just a tad. Retail sales were up 0.9% last month, and up 4.1 from last year. Motor vehicle and parts dealers were up 6.5% over the same period. Non-store retailers were up 9.8%. Holy mackerel. So the web sales continued to be strong. Retail sales up strongly. So the retail sales were good, and I think that caused the market to go down this morning because it's a little strong, and it means that maybe the Fed's not going to do as much with interest rates or have to take into consideration the strength of the markets right now. But then industrial production numbers came in about as expected, which is not good because they're down. So industrial production moved down 0.1% in November, but that was after declining 0.4% in October. In November, manufacturing output rose 0.2%, boosted by a 3.5% increase in the index for motor vehicles and parts. So motor vehicles seem to be doing okay right now. The indices for mining and utilities fell 0.9%, and that was for mining, and for utilities, 1.3%. At 102.0%, 100 of its 2017 average, total industrial production in November was 0.9% below its year earlier level. So this continues to be a problem. So but the markets didn't react to that. The Dow did not go back up as a result of that negative number. And then this is breaking. This was the last news of the day in the economic sector. On Sunday night, we call it Monday morning, my show that I do on Sunday night. On that show, I stated that the home builders' confidence was not likely to go up, even though that's what the economists were predicting. I was like, no, mortgages are stuck high, and no, I don't think they're going to go up. And I was right. So builder confidence in the market for newly built single-family homes was 46 in December, which was the same reading as the previous month. And then current sales conditions held steady, same as last month, 48. Sales expectations the next 6 months increased 3 points to 66. So, yeah, 3 months out, 6 months out, yeah, I think mortgage rates will come down, and I do think that there will be enough demand to create additional home building as we actually get into season. Traffic of prospective buyers posted a 1-point decline to 31. The latest HMI survey also revealed that 31% of builders cut home prices in December, and that was unchanged also from November, which I think was also unchanged from October. Meanwhile, the average price reduction was 5% in December, which is the same. The use of sales incentives was 60% in December, which was also unchanged. So after all of that, what has the markets decided to do with all of that? Well, Tesla is finally having a little bit of taking a breath this morning. It was up. What was the maximum? We were at 484 was the high, 483.99. I hope you don't mind if I rounded up a penny. Was up at 484. We are now back down to 472. So quite a breather there, but that's still up $9 compared to yesterday's close. That goes along with the Dow still being down 238, the NASDAQ down 153, the S&P 500 down 35, and the Magnificent Seven is completely mixed, with NVIDIA being the most interesting one of all, of course, continuing to look at this, down 452 this morning. But I think the news is not favoring NVIDIA right now with didn't I read that news? Did I skip that? Anyway, there was news this morning where Microsoft is saying, you know what? We've got all the chips we need. So that might be why NVIDIA is down 4.54 this morning. I'm sorry if I forgot to say that one. Okay, we've got the Cathie Woods are all down this morning. 100% across the board, all down at this moment. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the bonds. Last time I checked, the yields were down on the 10-year. The 10-year is somewhere on here. Here we go. Yes, down 1.6 basis points. We're still looking at 4.383. So call it, it's basically 4.4, but down at least. At least we're going in the right direction. The 2-year is down 0.6 of a basis point, and the 1 month is down 0.3 of a basis point at 4.31. Okay, so all of that directionally good, but not a lot of action there. All kind of probably pausing, waiting for tomorrow. Okay, when the Fed will report, of course. Let's look at oil. Oil is down back under 70 at 69.61. That's down $1.10. Brent down similar, reading this morning at 72.83. Yeah, okay, about $3 difference. Natural gas down 3.76% this morning, down under 310 at 309.4. Wow, that'd be interesting if natural gas falls under $3 as we go into winter. Gold down another 13 this morning at 2,656. So that gets us starting a little bit below its recent range. And then silver at almost 31, also down 0.67% this morning. Copper down a full percent at 4.146. The dollar is holding firm this morning, actually showing just a little bit of slippage against both the euro and the yen this morning. And then Bitcoin actually off this morning, but we're talking about off, it's still at 106. Earlier, I think it was up around 107. I can't remember now, but roughly I think that's where it was. All right, so that's what we've got going on this morning. As mentioned, Nicholas Gibbs around 5 o'clock, 5:30, something like that. Brian White, part 2, later tonight at 7:45 roughly. No, actually, exactly. I've already got it all pegged in there. So you can look at exactly 7:45. That will be coming out. And then, putting some money into Patreon as a Christmas gift. Have you made any money because of the things that you've heard from me? does it help you that I do all this analysis and I bring together all the most important articles and put them in one place each morning? Does any of that help you at all? Is it worth like $3 a month? Anyway, think about it. Patreon information below if you'd like to participate. I do have, by the way, camouflage Cybertrucks still in stock, and I will have more of the basic stainless steel on Friday. So if you want to place orders between now and Friday and it's okay, then I ship it out on Friday. Anything over 2 will go, second, or take 2 to 3 days to get to you. So Friday, it might still get there before Christmas. Otherwise, it'll be the day after Christmas. Okay, that's all I've got for you right now, except one last look at Tesla, which is now back up 13 points. We're looking at 475 right now. Still not to the new all-time intraday high, but $13 is not nothing. It's Randy Kirk here. It's been great talking to you.